beneath the trees where nobody sees.
What is a government shutdown? By Beneath the Trees Zero. A federal government shutdown in the United States is formally called a lapse in appropriations. In other words, a funding gap. From 1980 on, government shutdowns were required during funding gaps. However, not all funding gaps led to shutdowns. Congress is the one power that is responsible for appropriating and controlling government funding, as stated in the Constitution. Article 1, Section 9 states that no money shall be drawn from the Treasury, but in consequence of appropriations made by law. Each year, Congress proposes 12 appropriation bills to fund the government for the following fiscal year, to be written by the House and Senate Appropriations Committee and determine what to spend on each federal agency. The deadline is October 1st, when the next fiscal year is supposed to begin. Disagreements about budget allocations can occur before this deadline. A continuing resolution, or CR, can extend the deadline to fund the government, and both political parties under gridlock must agree on an appropriation bill. If Congress still can't pass the appropriations bills, then the federal government will shut down, and the affected federal agencies must close or stop normal spending. The human causes of the shutdown can be by one or both congressional houses and or the president via veto or the threat thereof, unless Congress can override the veto. Disagreements can happen within each party as well, even in the Republican Party. Filibustering in the Senate doesn't help matters. Note that there are some things on which both parties can agree on, such as paying the U.S. military or for cancer research. Each shutdown can last as little as a few hours or as long as several weeks. There are two types of federal government shutdowns, partial and full. Even state and local governments can be affected as well. Once the partial or full shutdown is in effect, both parties in Congress must work together to propose legislation to end it and continue the appropriations at previous funding levels. During this time, Congress and the Office of Management and Budget must remain in Washington, D.C. What stays open during a shutdown and what doesn't? Only essential federal workers, such as emergency personnel, continue their work. Examples of essential workers include the military, law enforcement, border patrol, doctors and nurses, air traffic controllers, weather forecasters, and many executive branch officials. For example, cabinet secretaries. Federal workers and agencies that are being shut down must operate without pay or not work at all until the shutdown ends. Agencies do, however, have contingency plans to guide them during a shutdown. The United States Postal Service, for example, is self-funded. Interestingly, Congress members whose pay cannot be changed during the shutdown except by a direct law, the president and many federal judges get paid during this time. Non-essential federal workers do not work during the shutdown, and non-essential services close or reduce their staff. Examples of non-essentials include national parks, federal museums, and other public institutions. National parks are closed unless a state or more helps keep them open. Programs like Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, Supplement Nutrition Assistance Program or SNAP, and Veterans Benefits and Medicare must continue because they are considered mandatory spending, even if a budget isn't passed, because they make up most of the government's budget. Government revenue and economic growth can get cut, however. Reopening the federal government is strictly a political matter, as both parties would rather shut it down than to concede to their opponents. To end the shutdown, Congress must pass a new budget or a continuing resolution. A continuing resolution extends the real budget's deadline, but is not in itself a budget. It temporarily finances the government until a full budget is passed. Thanks for watching and listening. Fear the Owl. Whoo!